So in this session, we will see on validation messages and throwing error messages using Groovy. And then we will also see the warning messages. Okay, so first, let me go to, so let's say we will take some few use cases. While creating service request, uh, we, we need to select account uh, as a required field. So one way is to make it required at field level. The second way, if we want to throw a message, if you want to show a message to the user for what reason this account is required, so you can use validation rules or throw error message. Okay, so we will see one use case for that, and second one, if for warning message, uh, if a title contains how to something like this keywords, then we will suggest to not create SR. Instead of that, maybe we'll give us some link so that they can refer FAQ website or FAQ URL, something like that. So that is for warning message. Um, so first we will see the error messages. For that, I'm going to application composer. Okay. And then going to SR object. So our first validation is um, on account, right? Account required. So first option we have is validation rules. So in validation rules, we have two types: object validations and field level validations. So object validations will work when we click on save or save and continue. Field level validations will trigger on changing a field. And these field rules will apply, will work immediately on simplified UI. In Redwood UI, it will work on saving a record. So that means in Redwood sales, uh, so this field rules also works like object rules. Okay, when there is a field changed and if that condition satisfied only. So now I'll take object level validation. Okay. So for validation rule, we need to give a message. So this is our error message, and here we need to write a script. So the condition is if account is null, then we will need to throw the error, right? So else we should not throw error. So this error message will trigger when the script returns false. Okay. So when script returns true, it doesn't throw error. So that's why if condition is not satisfied, I'm returning true. So return true means it doesn't throw error. So this case we will need to write return false, and here we will need to add a condition. For condition, we will need to go to fields, and then we'll search for the account ID. So we have account ID, account party ID. If account party ID is empty or is null, then we will return false. Okay. So while using this null checks, right? Null check, or when we are comparing, so it is better always to use ID fields instead of account name fields. So because uh, especially in field triggers, so IDs will change immediately, but not the name fields. Now I'm saving this change, and we will go to uh, the UI. Let me create a new service request from simplified UI. We'll also see the change, same change in Redwood UI as well. Now I'm giving the SR number, and then I'm proceeding. You can see an error popped up. Please select the account to create a service request. Okay, so it doesn't allow to create a SR until unless this is solved. This is fixed. I've selected account, and then it is allowing me to create an SR. So this is one validation in using validation rules. So other way is, now let's say we don't need the script. So what simply we can do is we need to comment the script, and if we just comment entire script, uh, this will return by default return false. So that means if we comment out, if we commented all the code in the script, and then it will consider it's uh, always it will return default value as false, and it will throw the same message every time. So to avoid that, we need to put default value as return true, so that if it returns true and error will not throw. Second way of throwing error is using triggers. So I'm creating one more before insert trigger now. And here I have an error message, but I'm not using this error message. So this time I will be using throw new Oracle validation exception. So here also the condition is if account party ID equal to empty or null. So why we are using two both empty and null is sometimes based on the depending on the data type, sometimes the value will be null and sometimes it will be empty. So so to avoid all that um, confusion, so every time, so we either we need to we can use both empty and null, or so we can also use something like this. So if you want to check this something the same validation, we can use this attribute with a not symbol here, so that uh, if account party doesn't have value, then it returns true. So without not, that means if this if the account party ID has value, then only it will enter into the condition. So this is equivalent to this condition. Now here once this condition is satisfied, so it will go into the loop and again we will throw the same message. Save and then save and close. Okay. Again, you can see error message. So now we will see the same change in Redwood service. How the error looks, we will see. I'm creating service request from Redwood UI and I'm giving the title. Okay, and then I'm clicking create. Okay, so you can see error and then save failed because of the error. Account is required for creating service request. So this is how the error from Groovy scripts will pop up here. And now we'll select the account and then we'll proceed. Okay, it is allowing create now. So these are the two different ways we can throw error messages. Now we will see warning messages. How can we raise warning messages? So for warning messages, we can use validation rules or triggers. So the first way is using validation rules. Uh, okay. So if we are using validation rules, either field validation or object validation, so we will need to raise the warning, something like this. So in trigger, we need to use the error message here. So in place of error message, we need to put the warning message. And in script, after the condition, we need to use adf.error.warn, and we need to pass null as value, and through this a warning message will be raised. So this is in triggers, right? So let's say in no, this is in triggers. Let's say in validations. So it is same, but we just need to add one more extra return true. So in error message, we will put the warning message, and we will use the same script if condition and then adf.error.warn null. And then in addition to this, we will add return true. Okay. So why this return true required? Because once uh, once warning message is raised, so we need to allow user so this will raise basically two error messages. So to avoid the error message from validation rule, we will skip one message. So that's why we are using return true here. Let's see this example uh, using validation rule. I'll use I'll use validation rules, and then I'm creating object function object validation rule. Okay, so this is the warning. Okay, so same we will use title. If title contains O2, then we will raise this error. Okay, so now I'm using without return true. Let's see what's the uh, error type. So I'm clicking on save and close. Now what will happen? Both error message and warning message will throw because it is validation rule, right? Now let me go to service request, create service request. Okay, you can see. So first error message came, right? It is coming as error message, right? To avoid that, what I'll do, I'll add the return true. Warning message didn't come, but it came as error message. So now I'll do return true here. That means so it will not, it should not throw as error message. Okay, just creating. Okay. T is capital here. Now you can see we got a warning message with the with the message we have used it. Okay. So to proceed, uh, we can, that since it's a warning message, it is allowing to create, and it is created already. So this is how the warning message will be raised from a validation rule. The same validation rule, if you want to raise from trigger, we will need to use a trigger. So again, I'm commenting this. Then I'll use trigger. Here, return true is not required since it's not a validation. Okay. So now this is from the trigger. Okay. So this is how we will use the warning from triggers as well. So the warning messages in so are with this sample Groovy, right? With this Groovy are currently working only on simplified UI. So if we want same warning message on Redwood, so we will need to use Visual Builder Visual Builder site to add a warning message.